So, what is this presentation about? First of all, I will just maybe describe the framework. This presentation is about search engine advertising, so SEA. We're not talking about SEO anymore. And a small recap, because maybe all of you don't know like what is the AdWords system. AdWords is about buying keywords and having your ad text appearing on Google search engine. So you can see here the little drawing I've made. So on example, the keyword banana, you can appear from the first till position number 8. And how is this ranking being calculated? The ranking formula is very easy. It's maximum cost per click multiplied by the quality score. So the presentation of today will really focus on maximum cost per click, how this cost per click can change and how it can move. We will not look at quality score. Okay, so what are the questions that you will be able to answer after this presentation? I hope. First of all, are the cost per click expensive in Belgium? So we'll try to do some benchmark. We will go and see in other markets and compare the cost per click in Belgium with our peers. Second point, what makes the cost per click fluctuating? What are the main drivers that are actually influencing this cost per click and why is it moving? And maybe the most interesting part for you as advertisers or agency is how to get a low cost per click. I mean, when you will understand it, you will be able to capture the opportunity out of it. So my presentation is being separated into 2 parts. After the first part, you will be able to ask questions, and after the second part also. So we will now look at the characteristics of the Belgian market. Let's try to understand a bit what is the internet landscape that we have here, and thanks to that, we will understand better what is actually the cost per click in Belgium. So first of all, on this graphic, we are looking at the e-readiness. The e-readiness is a ratio actually that was made by The Economist together with IBM that is trying to look the link that there is in a specific country between ICT technology and impact that those technology have on economics and social society. So what can we see on this graphic? We see here that actually Belgium was in the top tiers in 2002. So we were like country number 16 in terms of ranking. But when we see the trends, and now like in 2008, actually we lost position in that ranking. So it doesn't mean that our e-readiness ratio went down. No, actually it went up, like every country. But it means that other countries were able actually to catch up the level of Belgium, and even for some, they were able to go above us. So you can see here that actually other countries are really moving in a much more competitive way. That's the first thing that we can see about Belgium. Second point, that is Eurostat statistics. So they are all available. You can all have access to those stats. It's sometimes a bit difficult to find your way on the EU website, but what is the main message here? Actually, when we look at the percentage of households that have access to internet, we realize that we have 65% of Belgians that have access to internet. That's quite a good rate. It's lower than the Netherlands that have 85%, it's lower than UK, but in general for Europe it's quite a good rate. A lot of people also have broadband connections. So we used to be beforehand, like before, like 4 or 5 years ago, really like the top countries in terms of percentage of broadband access. Now I would say we are in the average. But when we look at the behavior of users on the net, we realize that actually Belgian users are really like using the basic features. So what do we call as basic features? Belgium, when they are surfing, they will be like here using internet to check their emails. They will be using internet to maybe do some search engine. So you see that the blue here is upper than the gray part. The gray part is the EU average and the blue part is us, Belgium. But when it comes to more advanced feature, so that part here, such as, for example, downloading things or participating into a forum or maybe listening to music, now we are below the EU average. So we are using internet, but we are using internet in a less advanced way. A same conclusion can also be made on e-commerce in Belgium. So here you have the percentage of individuals that actually made a purchase on internet the last 12 months. And in gray, here like on this line, you can see again the EU 27 average, so like the 27 countries of the EU, and you see that Belgium is below this average. Some peers, some countries that are in the neighborhood, like for example, you can see like Holland or UK, they have above 50%. We are right now between Malta and Spain. The figures are here, they are talking by themselves. Belgian users are not so much online to purchase things right now. So what is like, we see that we are like behind the EU average in terms of e-commerce. So yeah, there are many causes. I mean, you can dig into the figures here, and Eurostat tried to explain it also. They were like making a whole panel and asking people, okay, why are you not actually purchasing online? Is it because you are afraid of sharing your Visa card information? Is it like, they were asking all those different reasons. And the main reason for Belgium is actually quite interesting and weird at the same time, is that people are just not aware that they can purchase things online. And actually, this is being confirmed by those Eurostat figures again. And now we are looking e-commerce from the point of view of the companies. So we are not looking at e-commerce from the user's point of view anymore, but here it's the point of view of the companies. So on the first graphic, so you have the gray line here. It's the EU 27 average. So we will always compare ourselves to this average. On the first graphic, you see the percentage of companies that have a website. And we are above this average. So again, it's good. A lot of Belgian companies have their website. But when it comes to e-commerce features or more advanced features, such as, for example, having your product catalog online, or having the possibility of doing some online ordering, or even online payments, you see that Belgium in red now is below the EU 27 countries average. So we are lacking behind the EU average in terms of e-commerce, not only from the user's point of view, but also from the company point of view. That has a direct consequences on the advertisement spending. I mean, that's quite logic. And here are the EAB figures. And when you look at those figures, you see that per capita, I think that's the second graphic below, per capita you see that actually on the web, online, Belgian companies are spending less than companies in other countries. And the average is 80.6 euro per users. So you see it here. And we in Belgium, we are spending 49.2 euro per users. That's a good news. Why? Why is it a good news? I mean, I see your face, you are like, oh my God, Belgium is behind everybody, what's going on? I'm telling you that it is a good news because it means that there is less competitive pressure on the online advertisement market. And now I will show you that directly with the following slide. Remember the auction system. Remember that the fact that the more advertisers you will have on a particular keyword, the more the CPC will be high. If we now compare the CPCs in Belgium with other countries, I show you here a great opportunity. The great opportunity is that the CPCs in Belgium are cheaper than in other countries. So I've taken here like three sectors. So automotive, retail, and finance. And you see here the average category leader cost per click in each country for that specific sector. And one can see that for today, so I think those figures are from end 2008. I've made a calculation in end 2008. You have really a kind of great opportunity of being able to have cheaper traffic, cheaper clicks when investing in Belgium. So meaning, if everything like quality score and everything is going well on your side, meaning also cheaper cost per acquisition to generate new leads. Do you have any questions? Okay, great. Does this sound like logic for you? Are you learning something or? Great. Perfect. Yes?
I'm thinking about the question. When the advertising cost is quite low compared to other countries, that's what you say.
Yeah.
However, probably the trust, or there's different reasons why the online marketing actions, or sorry, the online shopping actions is also low compared to other countries. Isn't it possible that because of that, the cost for the advertiser is therefore higher in when he aims to Belgium?
You are right, because, of course, I mean, that has to be taken into consideration also. So that's why here, I mean, the click is only the entry point on your website. It doesn't take into account the behavior that you will be able to track afterwards with analytics, for example. And it doesn't take like all this funnel into account. So of course, I don't know here how many leads my click will really generate in Belgium. So of course, I'm doing the assumption that we have here the same website in France, in Belgium, and that the users will, of course, have a same level of, like, there will be the same rate of purchase. But here, the idea is that the entry point, the click that you could bring, is cheaper. Now for the rest, of course, it depends, like, case by case. Yeah?
Does this mean, for example, that Holland e-commerce companies or retailers who create a shop online, they can have the exact same shop in Belgium, but much cheaper? And if this is an opportunity for them, do you see this happen?
Actually, when I was doing this deck, I had a slide that I decided to take out, but that was quite interesting. This slide is showing the percentage of clicks that are coming from foreign countries. So, for example, in France or in the Netherlands, 80% of the clicks that are happening on the local level are coming from local companies. In Belgium, on the other way around, you only have 40% of the clicks that are coming from local companies. So it means that right now, we noticed that our SEA market is being cannibalized by the neighborhood countries. There are a lot of Dutch advertisers or French advertisers that are being present on the Belgian market and that are using this cheap clicks opportunity to be present with their shops or with their other services. Indeed, yes.
And if it's not that you as a Belgian SEA or AdWords buyer, you get a higher ranking just because...
No, for SEA, sorry. It's not SEO, I'm sorry. Okay, all right. So now you know that. We will, now I'm starting like the second part of this presentation. Now we will talk a bit about how you as an advertiser, you can try to capture low CPC click by understanding what are the factors that are influencing the auction. So of course, this is my approach and we can have afterwards a whole discussion about it, but the main three drivers that are actually influencing the CPC and the auction systems are, point number one, external events. So those external stochastic events are maybe planned or unplanned events that are coming, like it's one spot that is coming and happens and can influence your auction. The second point is seasonality and trend. Things that you need to know, it's on a longer time scale, but every year, for example, you will see the same thing repeating itself. And the third point will be the most interesting. It's about game theory and how when you set up a price, when you bid on a specific cost per click, it is actually influencing your competitors and the other way around. Don't worry, we are now like looking each point one by one. So point number one. What are the external events and how can it be an opportunity for you? You see here a little screenshot of Insights for Search. So Gabriel already talked about this tool this morning, but you know, like Insights for Search gives you the possibility of seeing how many times a query has been typed on Google, a search engine, and you can see it on the timeline, and it can be also like divided per country. And I've made here the search for easy keyword, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is a pop star from the 90s. Nobody really speaks about him anymore in 2009. He's like somewhere in his castle. Suddenly this guy dies, and you see, bam, a big boom here in terms of search about Michael Jackson. So why is it an opportunity? Let's imagine that you are a retailer. You are selling maybe books on Michael Jackson. You are maybe selling CDs. This is the moment where you really can invest and leverage these big raise of clicks and do something out of it. You know, like if you are present on Michael Jackson at that moment, you can really like sell your products in a much better way. Second point, another external event that you can plan is, for example, offline advertisement. If you are running a very strong campaign on radio, on television, on maybe your brand or on a new product, you should expect that users will be typing your product or your brand in a search engine and will be looking for you. And you should be aware of that and be present at the moment the user is looking for you. Be present when people are looking for you. Then, I don't know why my numbers just mixed up. Then another point is like planned events. So events you know they will arrive, and that also can represent an opportunity. So here I've put election in Belgium, but maybe like the Olympic Games can be something also. It's something that is expected. You know, people will be looking more and more for maybe sports queries. If you are selling shoes or sports outfits, that's also a great opportunity to be present. And then last point is the action that you are doing as an advertiser. Maybe simply the launch of a new product. You're not specifically having an advertisement campaign going on, but let's say if you are releasing a new car, just naturally, because your car will be present in the press and everything, people will go and have a look at it. So I wanted to illustrate the point with actually a little case study on the finance sector. Those are normally very confidential data that we don't really share, so you are very lucky today seeing this data. I had to index it, so yeah, the numbers don't really represent something. What is interesting is the shape of the different curve. So let's start with the graphic below. The graphic below, you see in yellow the average Belgium cost per click, the evolution of the average Belgian cost per click from January 2008 till 1st of August 2009. I know that it's not what you can read here, but I'm working on a Mac and I see that some things mess up. In blue, you see the finance CPC. So you can already like make a first approach by telling, okay, the finance CPC in average had much more evolution. So you see the variance is much higher in the finance CPC than the average Belgium CPC. But what now is very interesting is that when we compare that to the stock price Bel 20, so I pick up that because I thought that it was a good way of illustrating, let's say, the Belgium state, like the Belgium economics. You see that when this Bel 20 is going down, the cost per clicks is going down also. So it's a very good illustration of the economical crisis. So this finance CPC is going down, all right? So what does it mean? Either it means that the volume of clicks went up, CPC is a ratio, either it means also, or else, that a finance advertiser disinvest. And we'll answer to this question by keeping the same graphic on the bottom and just putting here, those are the volume of queries in finance that occurred in Belgium during the same period. So in blue, you see, it's an index again, a peak, an enormous peak in October and November 2008 in terms of finance query. And then afterwards, this peak is going down. So one can say already that the low CPCs is not only a matter of volume, it's mainly because finance advertisers disinvest. Why is there an opportunity here? The opportunity is that you can see that at that precise moment in the square here, between October 2008 and November 2008, when the crisis happens, you are really in the middle of the crisis, a lot of users are looking for finance queries, a lot of advertisers are disinvesting, so you can get here like almost twice as more clicks for half the price. And you had, at that moment, really a tremendous window of opportunity. If you are an intelligent advertiser, it is the moment where you should invest. If you can get like 10 bananas instead of 5 bananas for half the price, you should go for it. I mean, that's really a great opportunity. And even better, you see that the CPCs goes down and stay at a very low level from October, November 2008 till almost now. Now, you know, we are talking in the news about we are getting out of the economical crisis, things are better. Actually, maybe a good indicator can be the CPCs. As you can see, that finance CPCs in Belgium are coming up again. Second point, seasonality and trends. So the next slide is, I think, really my favorite slide in this presentation. Did you know that actually the keyword, the query credits is being more searched than the query Britney Spears in Belgium? I find that really amazing. I find Britney amazing also. If I do the same comparison between the keyword, the query sex, and the query Dexia, actually, you can see here that in 2004, more people were looking for sex than Dexia. But I don't know what happened in Belgian minds. More people now are looking for Dexia than for sex. So maybe sociologists can work on that. You know, there are really like many explanations. You can say that online banking is becoming more popular, that people are more using Dexia, that maybe sex is less popular, or that they're now accessing those services through specialized websites. That's not the point. The point is that you as an advertiser should know your trends. You should know what is cool, what is going up, and what is going down, and surf on that, and use that. And if for example, you were sex, in the sex industry, and you would keep bidding on the sex keyword, and you see this keyword that is less and less popular, and don't do anything, I mean, that is bad. So you should always know what is rising and what is going down. That's for trends. Another information that you can really forecast in the future, and on a long time scale, is seasonality. So seasonality is about answering the question, when are users looking for my product? So maybe as in your company, I mean, you obviously know when you are selling your product or when your product is in a hype, but maybe an information that you don't have is when people are looking it online. And like a good example is the travel industry. We would often see that there is a big gap between the moments where people would start purchasing their ski holiday and when people are looking for ski holiday. There is an average, I would say, 60 days between the moment you start looking for your holidays and the moment you really purchase it. Knowing your seasonality helps you building a better strategy of your portfolio. So like the example here is, let's say I have the query X, and you see that it has a very high seasonality, it's fluctuating, but I set up my AdWords budget in a stable way. So you see that at that moment, when there is a peak, unfortunately, I cannot capture the whole traffic because my budget is too low. If I know the seasonality, I can really like correctly allocate the budget that was not spent here and put it here, and thus like having the full potential of this specific keyword. So you will understand better with some examples. Maybe just a short question. When do you think, does one of you has an idea of when people in Belgium start to look for their winter holidays? And actually there are more people looking for winter holidays than summer holidays. Just, did you get my question?
August.
You say August? So you say in August there are more people looking for winter holidays than summer holidays? More winter than summer.
Otherwise you wouldn't ask this question.
I guess that you are working in the travel industry? That's a good answer. Congratulations. So I used here some insights for search again, and I compiled a bit the data. So I mean, you can do the same exercise. In blue, you see an index of the volume of winter queries. So everything that is linked to winter holidays, so ski trip, things like this, you know. And in yellow, you see like summer holidays. And you see that at the moment where those two curves cross is actually here. So on the 15th of August, if you were a travel advertiser, you should consider shifting your budget from the summer keywords to the winter keywords. This is what the information that seasonality can bring to you. So that's very valuable. Another example, I had actually a customer that was, let's say, selling like train tickets. And was asking, okay, when is the moment of the year where I should be present online? Is it the summertime? When is it, you know? So I've run this small simulation and show, okay, obviously everything that concerns the transportation industry is having a peak in summer. So you see like flight tickets here in blue, yellow it's car rental. Okay, I put house renting also, but it is not really transportation. And the train industry is actually having, okay, a peak in summertime, but it still has a quite in red here. You see the level is still quite high during September and October. That corresponds at the moments where people are back from holidays and, you know, are purchasing their train ticket to go to work or for kids when they go to school. The same for the bus industry. So you see like bus and everything, there is a big peak during September time. So when people are looking for all this information to buy their abonnement. Subscription. Thank you very much. So that was quite interesting information. What you can see here also is that maybe you ask yourself, what is the little graphic here? It's the variance. So the variance is answering the question, do I have a very big peak? So if the peak is very high, between the top moment and the lowest moment, then the variance is very high. And if the peak is very small, so something that is not very seasonal, then the variance is very small. We'll come back to that later. Retailer's example. That is for a retail customer that has in his portfolio many products. So gardening products in blue, home appliance in yellow, home furnishing in green, and interior decoration. So you see that each types of products has a peak moment at a different period. So now you might consider having a same investment in online advertisement throughout the year, but here it is really important to allocate correctly your budget in order to maximize your portfolio performance. And this is maybe the insight of the day. If you want to remember something from this presentation, yes, Christmas is a good time for gift. The peak is here. So I was talking about variance, and is those numbers here. So for example, gift has 61 points. So it means that between the highest point and the lowest point, there is 61 point of index. Antiques, for example, has only 24 points. Now, if we compare different types of industry, so in blue, you would have like different travel keywords, like travel products. In red, you would have like finance. In yellow, you have retail. You realize that you have much more blue here. So obviously, I mean, travel industry is something that is much more seasonal. As a travel advertisers, you might want to really consider seasonality. While if you are working into retail and finance, you will be more into like low seasonality. Last point, last but not least, we are now talking about game theory. And that's really like the fun part of the auction model. So without going too much into detail, game theory is about taking into consideration your competitor's choice while doing your own choice. So maybe you saw the movie A Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe. He's the guy that found the Nash equilibrium, or at least elaborate this mathematical theory. You can also type in Google HAL variant if you want more information about this and you like numbers. It's the chief economist of Google that developed a whole formula about that. But okay, that's just for our culture. So what's the game here? What game are we playing? In this graphic here, I mean, it is the empirical demonstration that the better position you have, so the better ranking you have, the more clicks you are getting. So it's the green curve here. So in position 1, 2, 3, you would get the highest amount of clicks. While the higher is your position, so when you go down in terms of position, the less clicks do you have. The orange curve is showing a bit the same thing, but position 1, 2, and 3 has the highest amount of CTR. That is a study I've made on a specific keyword, crédit, in 2008 for 6 advertisers. So it's not scientific at all. It's totally empirical. But I mean, you can try it and you can see. But why did I show you that? I show you that because we were like trying to define what are we playing at, what's the aim of the game. And the aim of the game here is to get as much click as possible for the lowest price. I mean, that's logic. You want to get a lot of clicks, a lot of traffic coming, but you don't want to pay much. I mean, we all agree on that. And there is actually a great new tool that you can find in your AdWords interface called Bid Simulator. And Bid Simulator is a decision helper tool. It's quite interesting because it's taking the data on your auction, on everybody's auction, for 7 days, if you have a minimum of 30 clicks, and it is telling you, okay, this is your current cost per click. What would have happened in terms of clicks if you would have increased your CPC by 10 cents or decrease your CPC here by 53 cents? And it shows you this amount of clicks. So that's the Bid Simulator. But my point here is that I want to show an illustration of this game theory. And that's a very colorful graphic. That is actually, I'm running the Bid Simulator for 6 different keywords for a finance advertiser. So in each color is representing a keyword. So you see crédit, prêt, voiture d'occasion, lenen berekenen, snel geld, and prêt personnel. You can see here on this axis if it is the percentage of increase of CPC, and on the vertical axis is the percentage of increase of clicks. So what can we see here? We see that, for example, in yellow, for the keyword prêt, if I would have raised up the CPCs by 50%, I could have get an increase of clicks of 120%. And what defines that? Actually, this is all the advertisers that are putting their bids in a certain way. So maybe one is putting 10 cents, the other one is putting 30 cents, the other one is putting 50 cents. You know, like they are doing a path. And this is like the keyword path. And for you, it is interesting because you know that now, if you do this very like 50% increase of CPC, you can get this 120% increase of clicks. And I mean, that's great. You should invest into that keyword. On the other hand, some keywords are not interesting at all because of the path of the auction model. For example, if now I take lening berekenen, I can increase the CPC like as much as I want, from 50% till 300%. I will never really be able to get much more clicks. How can you play around with that? Okay, you can use the Bid Simulator, but mainly it's about testing. It's about doing like testing, measuring, and then iterate the procedure. So as a conclusion, this is the learnings of this second part. What is the secret of a successful account in terms of CPC? So this is my grandma recipe, even though my grandma doesn't know anything about AdWords. So set up your account, but do some active management. Be active. There is many things that you can do. Yeah. First of all, react fast on unplanned events. So this is like the Michael Jackson thing that you have seen. Secondly, coordinate with planned events. If you know that Olympic Games are coming and that you are like selling sports outfits, you better be present on everything that is related to sports. People will look for it. Know your sector with online trends. If sex is becoming famous, if Dexia is becoming less famous, or the other way around. And your seasonality. When are people looking for your product?